Ever heard of a lyrebird? Of course you haven't. We all know the closest you've come to a brainstorm is a light drizzle. But anyway, this bird has a soundboard inside of him. The lyrebird has adapted to be able to mimic any sound it hears. Bro's able to remember and mimic up to 37 different sounds at one time. So maybe you could get one to mimic your long-lost father figure. The lyrebird can do this mimicking because they have an extremely developed voice box, even more developed than a human's. This allows the lyrebird to mimic sounds that most animals cannot. If we gave the lyrebird a Glock 19 extended magazine, Bro would be one of the best special ops agents for real. Did you know that there's such a thing as a Jesus lizard? Well, of course you fucking didn't. But anyways, there is. That's correct. The basilisk is able to run on water. Did you know that basilisks can grow up to 2 feet? You better not piss off one or else your ass is in trouble. If you didn't know, the basilisk can run up to 15 miles per hour on water and 7 on land. The average male human's running speed is only 8 miles per hour. You cannot run, nor can you hide, motherfucker. If we gave these bitches a loaded handgun, humanity might as well just quit game, cause Jesus Lizard is about to go on a 15-kill streak. Do you want to be able to camouflage and change your body to resemble any living thing? I know that you fat fucks would want to. Anyway, there is one animal that can do exactly what I'm talking about. This animal's name is the mimic octopus. Lil Bro got a hold of the Omnitrix and modified it to turn into sea creatures. The octopus can squish its body into weird ass shapes and change the color of its skin using its chromatophores, which are light-absorbing cells, in order to look like different animals. They can even change their behavior to act like the animals it is mimicking. Honestly, mans would fly to the top of the food chain if we gave it any type of weapon. Bro could activate his cloak gauntlets and camp the entire game. Have you ever heard of the animal named the Spiny Mouse? No, same here, bitch. This weird-ass creature is basically a normal mouse, but Bro refuses to aliven it. Man can regenerate any organ in the body, including his heart. They regenerate because of cells in their body called macrophages. Macrophages release proteins that promote regrowth of tissue that's damaged or missing. Some examples of missing stuff include your father, a fucking girlfriend, and friends. The way the Spiny Mouse got its name is from an experiment where it repaired its own broken spine without help. If we gave the Spiny Mouse a gun, mans could take over the world. Actually, no, they wouldn't. Despite having Deadpool-ass regeneration powers, they're still some fucking mice. Did you know that if Finding Nemo was realistic, that Nemo's dad Marlin would have butt-fucked his own son? Here's why that would happen. Basically, groups of clownfish are led by a head female fish. When that female leader fish eventually dies, they need a new one to fill the power vacuum. And since all clownfish are born males, one has to sacrifice their schlonkamus to the fish overlords to take charge. Over the course of a few months, the non-dominant male goes through a process called protandrous sequential hermaphroditism, aka fish transgender surgery. Sadly, once the male who sacrificed his cock for the team fully transitions, he can't grow it back. If we gave a clownfish a gun, they might all blast off their sausage just so they can become the head female of their pack. Did you know that hippopotamuses can weigh up to 4,000 pounds? Well, somehow they aren't as heavy as your fat ass. These big water cows are the 3rd largest mammal in the world. Despite the fact that they look cute and friendly, they can fold your ass like a paper airplane in an instant. Think you can run away? Well, these fuckers can run up to 19 miles per hour on land, so you might as well just give them a pen to co-sign your obituary. No matter how much you want to pet a baby hippo, just remember that a 3,000-pound walking tank with a bite force of 1,820 psi is its mama. If we were to give one of these semi-aquatic Peter Griffins a Colt 1911, you'd see sub-Saharan Africa's population drop like a fucking fly. Spiky-ness! Double-headed defeater! Did you know platypuses have a spiny schlong that has 2 heads? If you already did, pull up to the nearest mental asylum, you fucking sicko! But anyway, let's drop the cock talk and go back to the platypus. These guys are weird as fuck. Even though they are mammals, they lay eggs. They also have venomous spines on their feet. This venom can kill small animals and deeply injure larger animals as well. The reason that these weird-ass creatures developed venom is because they use it in mating battles. Phineas finna push Perry too far and get 4 milliliters of venom injected into his ass. If we gave these semi-aquatic egg-laying mammals a loaded handgun, mans would be starting a shootout over a bitch during mating season. Did you know that wood frogs unalive themselves just to hibernate, then resurrect themselves in the spring? That's almost as lazy as you not walking 5 fucking feet to pick up the remote. But anyways, unlike regular frogs, wood frogs spend most of their time on land. Did you know they can hold their pee in for 8 months? This is because they literally convert some shit in urine into nitrogen. If you didn't know, most hibernating animals wake up in the spring and breed. But wood frogs are so horny, they're the first frogs to fuck in spring. If we gave these bitches loaded firearms, mans would probably think it's a quicker way to hibernate and aim the gun at its head and pull the trigger. Did you know that koalas are one of the dumbest animals on Earth? Well, no one fucking cares about what you think, but anyways, they are. That's right. Koalas have one of the smoothest brains of any mammal in the world. Did you know if you put a plate of eucalyptus in front of a koala, it wouldn't eat it? This is because the koala is so fucking stupid that it only recognizes its food when it is on a branch. If you didn't know, an animal's smarts depends on how many wrinkles its brain has. If you take a look at a picture of a koala's brain, it's so smooth we could line them up for a goddamn slip and slide if we had enough of them. Honestly, if we gave a koala a loaded gun, it would probably think that shit's eucalyptus and stick the barrel in his mouth and pull the trigger. Big bitch-ass bats. That one thing that sleeps upside down. They see in the dark by fucking screaming, aka by using echolocation. Bats and humans see just as well as each other, but that also means they're fucking blind at night. And since bats are nocturnal, they have to adapt to using different methods of sight. This is where echolocation comes in. Bats scream towards something, and then they wait until the scream reflects back to them. Then they use their pea-sized brain to somehow comprehend the exact distance and material of that object. You might ask, how do they do all this? And I have no fucking clue. Homeboy's already got them special ops traits. Might as well just recruit him to the military. Bro would be fucking sniping fruit flies in the middle of the night. Have you felt lonely? Well, of course you have. You don't fucking have friends. But at least there are other humans. Same can't be said for this tortoise right here. This is Lonesome George, a male pinta tortoise who was the last of his subspecies. He was born in 1910 and found by humans in 1971. This guy lived to 101 years old, but didn't fuck one bitch. The scientists who took care of him lined him up with hundreds of females, but none of them wanted it from a master Uruguay that took drugs. Unfortunately, he died in 2012 and will always be remembered. If we gave him a gun, he'd probably end his suffering of lack of pussy with a 9mm to the cranium. Jokes aside, R.I.P. Lonesome George. Chirp, chirp, motherfucker. Did you know that hummingbirds are the only birds that can fly backwards? If you didn't, go read any 3rd grade science book, you fucking dumbass. The way these fuckers defy physics is because they are able to flap their wings in a figure 8 and also somehow twist their wings backward. Man's got mobility points maxed out to 100, but left his strength stats at 0. One little tap would crumple that bitch like a ball of paper. These diabetic doves love to drink sugar water. Surprisingly, they're very aggressive and territorial and often chase away other birds. Despite being able to fly at nearly 30 miles per hour, their legs are weak as shit. Maybe instead of drinking all that nectar, they should get into the fucking gym sometime. If we were to give all hummingbirds a Remington 870, mans would probably turn the Amazon rainforest into a cod lobby. Ever thought living forever was impossible? Well, for a dumbass bitch like you, thank God it is. But anyway, there is one animal that can live forever. Its name is Turritopsis dohrnii. But since you don't have the required amount of brain cells to understand what that means, let's call it the Immortal Jellyfish. The reason people consider this jellyfish immortal is because of its uncanny ability that allows them to restart their entire life cycle at will. They can do this because when they die, their body sinks to the ocean floor. Once this happens, their cells form together and re-aggregate, forming a new polyps, meaning this fucker can reset his health. Yet somehow he gets folded by this bitch. Kangaroos! We all know those bitches. Strong kick, big-dicked Aussie monsters. These fuckers punch like Tyson. We all know these SOBs love to kick shit. Well, at least they do for now. Until one of those bitches gets their ribcage kicked in by another kangaroo. If you were too fucking stupid to know, kangaroos' kicks are more powerful than an angry Hispanic mom with a sandal. No joke, those kangaroo kicks break bones. But kangaroos themselves take these kicks on the chin. This is because we humans are weak as shit. And it's also because kangaroos have insanely thick skin that protects from physical harm. If we gave a kangaroo a gun, they might take over the whole damn world.
I know where you are. Run now.
Tetragrades. These fuckers are built like a microscopic version of queso. These 1x1 Lego pieces are basically immortal in any weather, even when thrown out into space. Bro was essentially born with creative mode on. Despite the fact that they can take on a literal nuke, they're completely reliant on water. Once water disappears, bro is immediately slumped. Man's basically hibernating, but for multiple fucking decades. And if you were wondering, yes, their shit is nearly half the size of their whole ass body. Homeboy is literally invincible, yet gets folded by a fucking nematode. Remember that old adage about how sharks can smell blood from miles away? Well, since your memory is too shitty to even remember what you had for breakfast, you probably don't. But anyways, that saying about sharks is actually a lie. Well, not fully. Sharks can sense things from miles away. However, they don't do it with their sense of smell. Sharks have a sixth sense called electroreception. Electroreception allows an animal to sense electric currents. But how does this help them sense food? Apparently, all muscular movement or twitches in living animals creates small electric currents. So basically, sharks have fucking wall hacks for anything that's moving. If we gave a shark a loaded firearm, it'd probably go crazy with those wall hacks, racking up more kills than your average COD aimbotter.